Hey you! Welcome back to the Dugout and Beyond. So we are now, of course, a couple games into the NHL playoffs here, along with also the NBA one as well. But we're going to be reflecting a little bit on the past NHL season and a couple before that also, as we are seeing numbers actually rising in the last couple of years here. So in 2022 to 23, we had about average fans going to the game was 22,436,532. That number rose the next year from 23 to 24 to 22,873,142. And this past year was the first ever time in NHL history that there was that it crossed over the 23 million mark, hitting 14,458 fans have went to the stadium, went to any stadium across the country and also into Canada. And also, I think they're counting, of course, going to Czechoslovakia as the first couple games there, and also the outdoor venues that we had across the season here. But yeah, we'll get into that in just a second here. But yeah, this is pretty awesome. I've kind of been, in a way, feeling like this has been kind of a thing that's been coming up more. It's becoming more a bit more reachable. I think there's a lot more games being played on actual TV. I know that for ESPN Plus users like myself, they're literally everywhere. You can literally just go on ESPN Plus, and if you I think it's like $10. I know there's a whole lot of thousands of subscriptions out there. You can have Uber Eats, on Netflix, all that across Hulu, Max, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's like $10. So once you have it, you can literally go on ESPN and just watch all of them as you want, and it's very accessible, unlike the NBA, which again we'll get into another video. So definitely subscribe for that along the way. But yeah, I've definitely been feeling like there's been a lot more outreach of these games along the way the last couple of years, and becoming a lot easier. And also, not only that, but the Canadians sold out every game this year, which in the Bell Center, which seats 21,105 people. So congrats to them. Give a little round of applause to the Montreal Canadiens there. And also, as I was just saying, that we've had outdoor games, and they've been very entertaining. Of course, if you've been with this channel for a couple of years now, I did go to the outdoors game with the Islanders and Rangers. Absolutely awesome. It was insane. And I hope that I can have my team do that again. I would do it honestly for any game, but obviously I would like to see the Rangers play in that again. But yeah, they of course played in the Buckeyes Stadium, where of course the Ohio State football team plays, and they had the second largest crowd in NHL history. That is across every single year that we've had NHL. At 94,751 people showed up for that game. And of course, I don't think that's enough. I'm counting the people that actually sat home and watched it, like myself, not on that don't live in Ohio. But yeah, that's pretty impressive. You have the second largest ever. Like, that is, like, we have a lot of like scoring records. You have passing records, all this kind of stuff. If you're breaking an NHL record, of course, you have going outside into a football stadium. It is a little bit easier to beat that record, and of course do that. Like if they go to the Big House in Michigan, they can have, that would be probably, I don't know what the largest crowd is, but I would say that would probably hit it, as they have over 100,000 seats in that stadium. But yeah, this is also not included in the record attendance is the very successful Four Nations tournament that we had, which Canada, U.S., Sweden, and Finland were in it, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that drew 135,977 people across the 7 games in Montreal and Boston, with of course Canada taking the cake there against the U.S. And they did. That was a great tournament. I think that maybe it was a little bit more focused on Canada and the U.S., as I think there was like the tariff war or something was going on. So I think we were really going back and forth with that, and like, hey, like, we're better now. Like, can we come up 51st state here in the U.S., or oh no, they just lost to Canada. Like all that kind of stuff. But of course, going against Sweden and Finland were also awesome games, because a lot of the players all played against each other, are all teammates against each other, and they all clashed for a couple games, and these may be some of the first times that I actually think for the players, it was the first ever time that they've played for their country at the NHL level, which is absolutely awesome. That is that's a major. That's like playing like the WBC, where you play for your country, which they of course had a couple years ago, and we have that coming up. I think this coming summer. I think we have another. I think we have the WBC coming up this spring training also. So that'd be awesome to see. But yeah, so there are no final numbers yet, as the season literally just ended like not too long ago. That will probably be coming out later on, maybe even just after the playoffs. They might just be doing this, but the numbers will come in pretty fast, I think, at the end of the year, and we'll definitely hear that. But last season, just giving a little reference of what the numbers were, NHL games on TNT and ESPN platforms averaged 504,000 viewers. So pretty awesome to see that this game is definitely growing. And we all know that maybe, hey, like, this is definitely a Canadian sport or a very cold European sport. You know, like, yeah, we have teams in Florida and Dallas and San Jose. Actually, Kings are lower than San Jose. Yeah, we have National Predators, all that out there. But like, if you notice, a lot of the players are not really all American. There's a lot of Canadian, Russian, Sweden, Finland, as the foreign nations are already letting you know where they're from. Czechoslovakia, out in Europe there. But yeah, this is definitely becoming I think, a stronger, more global thing, and people. And we also have. I think that this year helped also with Alex Ovechkin having the possibility, and of course he did break and has now the new record for amount of goals in NHL history, breaking Wayne Gretzky's record there. So I think that might have maybe drug in some fans there along the way, just like, hey, like, let's watch this guy, let's see how good he, like, if you never watched him before, oh, hey, let's watch Ovechkin. I want to know how many new fans there are for the Washington Capitals alone as we went across the season. And obviously, he did break that record on an amazing. He sniped that shot. That was an amazing shot coming off and just laying it in there. And the little slide he did across the ice was just amazing. I loved watching that. But yeah, this is what you like to see. You like to see this these sports just gaining more traction along the way and becoming more popular, and just seeing what can grow of the games as they, of course, are expanding it to the other side of Europe. Like, hey, like, we know that you're from here. We never really have games here, like Czechoslovakia game, the first couple games of the season. I know it was the Sabres. I'm not remembering the second team, but yeah, we like, hey, let's bring it back to where you guys are from. Let's have more of those games. That would be really awesome. More outdoor games in very special areas. And just kind of switching things up and giving teams that don't have that kind of fan base the ability to grab the fan base along the way and make this a more and more popular sport along the way. Even though it already is, it's a very popular sport no matter either way, no matter what. But this is just showing that the numbers are, of course, growing. And here's the facts. Here's the that went up. From the first year, it went up over 400, and then this past one went just over 200, barely, almost 200, not really, 150-ish, 150,000-ish, but that's still, that's a football, it's more than a football stadium right there. That's what it was being dragged in there. But yeah, awesome to see that, and just waiting for those final numbers to come in for this for this season along here. So we can, I will be writing that in the comments. So check that out and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.